record on this computer. All right. So welcome to our second installment of Conversations with Coach. Corey Radke and Alex had a great conversation last week, and we're just kind of continuing the ball rolling here with one of our senior captains, Alden Grimes. Alden, welcome. So yes, Alden, why don't you just set the scene, let us know where you are these days and what's going on.
Totally. Let's see. I am actually taking a semester off from Bowdoin and planning to come back in the fall. I'm in South Boston, living with a fellow Bowdoin sailor who's also taking the semester off. Shout out John Sider. And we're lucky enough to be crashing in his older brother's apartment. So yeah, just kind of enjoying some time in Boston and getting to know the city and working on applying to jobs. So that's kind of what I'm up to. I take it you're in coastal studies, Frank?
Yes, I'm at our boathouse. You can tell it's spring because the pile of coaching gear around the office is pretty substantial. Yeah, we're not practicing today, but it's a beautiful bluebird day, but it's blowing, I don't know, in the mid 30s right now at our place. So kind of making sure that everything's staying attached and, just catching up on normal Monday work here. So
sweet.
So yeah, do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
I got some doozies for you, so I'll fire some your way. All right, so this year has obviously been a different year for college sailing, and the Bowdoin team is lucky enough to be practicing. So what is your kind of coaching philosophy for an entire season of practice without regattas versus kind of your philosophy in a normal season?
Yeah, so it is, I would say there's no doubt it's been a pretty challenging year, I think, for everybody. But I think from a coaching standpoint, it has been particularly challenging. In the fall, we primarily just had our first years around, and we had one senior and one sophomore who was part of Res Life. And this spring, we have 5 seniors and then 1 junior and then 3 underclass, men and women. So it's been a little bit, each semester has been a little bit different. I think we've primarily focused in the fall on our skill development and kind of introducing people to, both the college sailing dinghies, 420s and FJs, but also the style of sailing that we do and the level of boat handling. And I think for the most part, it was pretty good in the fall. We were very skill based. And, I think we tried to make the most of those opportunities. The spring, we've definitely transitioned into a little bit more of a competitive environment. Like we've been trying to do more race days, more races to start practices. We're just trying to continue to develop the competitive level of the team. We are working hard to maybe have a competition or 2 as the season progresses. We're kind of working through that with Bowdoin and maybe some other NESCAC schools, but it's still a little bit TBD. But yeah, it has been challenging. But I do think that the greatest thing about this year is that like it's given everybody an appreciation of being able to practice and get on the water. So like there's lots of good energy like every day at practice, whether the weather is awesome or the weather is less than awesome, and that has been, and that goes for me as well. I think we all have a newfound appreciation of what we do. And we've been just trying to take advantage of the opportunities that we've been given. So
sweet. I'm so jealous of getting to be on the water. That sounds awesome.
Yeah. So I would say maybe along a little similar theme as that, for everybody, you were abroad your junior fall down in New Zealand, and then you had a really short time last spring back with the team for maybe 1 regatta and a handful of practices. So I know you've kind of been away from the game for, I don't know, 2 years or so. What do you feel like you missed the most from college sailing over the past couple of years?
Yeah, it is kind of crazy to think that I haven't stepped foot in a dinghy since since last March, and really haven't had any big competition since my sophomore year. But I definitely, I think the competition is super fun, and I kind of miss seeing the regular crowd on weekends. And you kind of, over the course of a semester, you get to sail against, maybe not the same kids every regatta, but you definitely have a rotating basis with a similar group of people. And so I definitely miss seeing those guys on the weekends, guys and girls on the weekends. And then kind of getting to travel, going to Boston on the weekend is always fun, or down to New York or Connecticut, something like that. So I miss the competition side of it. And then obviously I miss the team. It's unfortunate that I haven't been able to see a lot of my fellow Bowdoin sailors in over a year, it seems like. So yeah, I think once, hopefully, knock on wood, when things kind of return to normal, it'll be really exciting to get the group back together and get to spend time with kind of the best group, best team on campus. So yeah, it's kind of what I've been missing, is the team and the competition, for sure.
Cool.
All right, let me see if I can find another one. Can you give us a kind of pinnacle Bowdoin sailing memory or moment, something that kind of stands out to you as a highlight, and something you would share to your friends who don't sail?
That's a good question. Been fortunate that there's been a lot of good moments with the team during my tenure, but I don't know. I think to me the 2014 year was a pretty special one for the program. It was like the first year we qualified for a national championship. Our women's team qualified, I think, at the Coast Guard Academy. And then 2 weekends later, our co-ed team qualified at Yale. And it was just a really cool group to be a part of. And both events, there was drama. We were kicking butt, then we had some stumbles, then we kind of poured it back on, which was really good. And it was, I think for both events, it was a full team effort. And I think we had a lot of really good people and sailors in the program kind of before that, but it was kind of the first time where we kind of, were able to kind of put it all together. And yeah, it was a super driven group, and I don't know, I was really fortunate to be able to coach them. And it was also the year where we transitioned from Bethel Point to coastal studies. It's just been awesome to be down here since then. But certainly I think those two events, I think, are pretty big highlights. I would say the only other one not the only other one, but being able to host the Coast Guard Alumni Bowl in the spring of 2019 was a big deal for us. And finishing second at a New England championship for a school like Bowdoin is a big deal. So I would say, like, as I quickly think about it, those are kind of some of the highlights amongst many other, awesome moments and opportunities that my coaching, time has afforded. So, yeah. So I know this fall, when you were taking classes remotely at Bowdoin, you were able to do a fair amount of sailing on some bigger boats, located in it seemed like in the fall you were primarily in the Rhode Island area, but we're able to do a little bit of traveling. So I don't know, talk to us about that experience and what it was like kind of sailing with some really good pro sailors and really good amateur sailors, and maybe what you hope to kind of bring back to the team from those experiences.
Yeah, totally. I over the course of the summer, kind of took every opportunity I could to sail on big boats in Newport, and I'm lucky enough to kind of be somewhat based out of that area. Yeah, I hopped on a few boats, and then that led to other opportunities. And this fall, a lot of the New York Yacht Club kind of big anniversary annual regattas got pushed to September because they were canceled in the summer. And so online class gave me the opportunity to kind of balance school and get to go do some of these pretty high caliber regattas on neat boats. So I sailed with a team called Rigadoon, which is a brand new boat that was made in New Zealand, and it's a 44-foot all carbon kind of just complete race boat. And yeah, there was some really high level pro sailors on the boat, and I was kind of just learning and keeping up and trying to follow their lead. So getting, learning from them and learning how communication should work on a boat is transfers well over, at least personally, I think it transfers well over to being a senior member on a sports team. And getting to be co-captain with Julia and Claire has also been humbling. Those two are awesome. But I hope that what I learned from those guys on the boat will transfer over to kind of getting to be a senior member on the Bowdoin team. But yeah, leadership, communication, and getting a boat around a course safely, I think are kind of the big takeaways from that program. And making sure you keep the $300,000 rig in the air. Keeping the mast upright was a big part of that one. So yeah, that was a really fun experience, and I was happy to make the most out of online class for the fall. Yeah. All right, I have some kind of fun rapid fire questions for you. Just off the top of your head, answer as fast as you can. 420 or FJ?
FJ.
Welch's or Scooby Snacks?
Scooby Snacks.
How many cups of coffee a day?
Easily 5 to 8.
Best part of the coastal study sailing venue?
Ooh. The wildlife, I actually think is pretty cool. We had a race day the other day, and the pin was set right off the dock, and I was at the pin kind of coaching stuff, and I turned to my left, and there was a bald eagle gorging on a huge fish, like, I don't know, 20 feet away. And like the team, they're so focused on their racing, they can't even think about it. And like in between stuff, we're talking sailing, and I'm like, and some people you just kind of have to get out of their head. I'm like, hey, go look at that bald eagle over there. Like, that's just having lunch, But it's a good place to sail. But the wildlife out there is pretty spectacular.
Sweet. Quote of the day or quote of the week?
Ooh. Well, I have one at my desk right now that's been here for a long time. It don't come easy. Yeah, that's a good one.
Sweet. The last one, Mystic Diner or Bickford's Diner?
Ooh. I think I like Mystic. It's yeah, they're both quite good, but yeah.
I'm with you there.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Bickford's Diner is in Woburn, Massachusetts, where we spend a lot of our weekends kind of commuting into normally Charles River regattas, and then Mystic Diners down in Mystic, Connecticut. So whenever we're down with probably the Camels at Connecticut College or down at Yale, we usually get a treat at Mystic Diner. So
diners are good in my experience with the team because it's usually a lot of food for usually hungry people, and there's generally a broad spectrum on the menu, and easy yes. Place to kind of satisfy all different demands. Cool. No, that sounds good. My last series of questions are adventure related. I know you spent some time in an RV, and it's a little bit interesting because I know last year you guys kind of put together another cross country trip, and I've seen kind of the aftermath of the few different polar bears of kind of that trip has been a little bit transformative because you guys bought an RV, Louis Frumer bought a bus, Matt Safford still has the camper. I feel like the polar bears have been supporting the Craigslist community in significant ways, but I don't know, how was it living in an RV in ski towns? What was that experience like? And do you miss sleeping in an RV full time these days?
Yeah, I definitely miss it. We we bought a 22-foot motor home, I guess you can call it, with another Bowdoin sailor, and then a kind of friend of the Bowdoin sailing team. And we did a month and a half long road trip around the West, living in the RV and staying in people's driveways. So we bought the Icon Pass, which is this kind of big cumulative pass on a whole bunch of different mountains, and then tried to keep it as cheap as possible. And yeah, it was a blast. I definitely miss it. I do enjoy being able to wake up and have a shower in the morning. That's pretty luxurious. But there's something about the simplicity of rolling out of bed and making a breakfast sandwich and then walking to the mountain that is pretty special. So I think I can safely say that I'm hooked on maybe not that lifestyle, but you know, having those trips and having fun with some friends out west has been pretty fun. And I definitely credit Matt Safford, who is a Bowdoin Sailing alum, for the inspiration and for kind of getting us all in the back of his truck camper last year. So yeah, I think it was super fun, and I would do it again. But right now we're putting the camper on the market. So if anybody is in the market, we have a good deal for you. So yeah,
I'm glad to hear you guys didn't have the same level of mechanical challenges as maybe did the previous year. And you know,
yep.
Knowing you guys and knowing Matt, like I bet without having Matt around, that would have been a bigger deal.
Big problem. Yeah, we're not mechanically inclined, and Matt definitely has some mechanical ability. So yeah, we were lucky that the camper did an amazing job, but definitely credit the preparation before the trip to make sure that went well. So, yeah.
Cool. Well, Alden, it's been great catching up, and yeah, we'll hopefully have you in Bowdoin uniform at the Coastal Studies Center here in September, and we can all kind of get back to a more normal existence. And yeah, I think there's some really great opportunities kind of coming up with the people on the team in the coming months. So thanks again for the time.
Thank you, Frank. Can't wait to get